If you watch our videos in Social 118, you know that I'm trying not to impose my own belief system onto students. That what we're trying to do in this classroom, in this space right here, is to give students opportunities to think on their own terms and to understand the ways in which ideas and thoughts that come at them are often slanted in one direction or another. Our sponsor this semester, our very first sponsor, is Ground News. It's the perfect sponsor for this class, and I'm really happy to endorse them, and I'm happy to get behind them. If you subscribe for Ground News using the code in the description, the link in the description, you get 40% off the Vantage plan. That's the plan that we use in here. And I can't say enough how important this is and how valuable it is to have a better understanding of the ways in which news is coming at you and the ideological perspectives that people are taking who are sharing the news. So sign up for Ground News. It's awesome. Like, I hope all of my students sign up for Ground News, actually. Well, this is actually gonna be the closest that you're going to get to a lecture. By the way, today's class is gonna be a really fun class. So, yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself just so they know why you're sitting up here?
Hi, my name is Emily Yoder. I am a junior criminology major. I'm not entirely sure why I'm up here.
Yeah, you're up here because you're the first main volunteer, and you're all by yourself. So, and it's
Nice.
a really fun day to volunteer.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So you can then just turn the mic off, and you just have a front row seat for what I'm about to say. So this is the closest you're gonna get to an actual lecture in Social 118, but I'm gonna do it in about 10 minutes. And so we'll just see how we go. What you're gonna be doing today, what you're gonna be talking about, and what we're going to do is just have some conversations about different groups of people. All right?
Okay.
So go to the next slide. So you may be a person who believes in, takes a creationist perspective to human beings, human groups, and human bodies. Okay, which is fine. I mean, I don't know, who am I to tell you what to believe? But in science, in the world of science, mostly, although there's actually a really interesting movement, especially in Christianity, but also in Islam, of people making the argument for creationism, trying to pick out the ways in which creationism is actually rooted in science. They're trying to find all the scientific roots of to make an argument for creationism, meaning that there is a life form or God, the ultimate being, the person, the being, I don't know, person. What is God? I don't know, she, he, whatever God is. Is God a he or a she?
I can't really speak on that.
Okay, that's a good thing. But when you refer to God, do you use male pronouns or female pronouns?
Typically male pronouns.
Why do you use male pronouns?
It's just how it's taught, honestly.
Okay, but you do a lot of things. Okay, but...
And that's how he's depicted.
Okay, but if you think about it, giving birth is a thing that women do. So it's more female-oriented. So you could just use female pronouns. You'd probably be closer to something if you're going to use them. Because what people say is, well, God's neither a he nor a she. Well, if God's neither a he nor a she, then don't use male pronouns. Use it or something. I don't know, whatever. But the point being, in the world of science, we have this idea. It's not an idea, it's a theory, but it's a theory based in a lot of evidence, and evidence that we've been collecting for many, many years, and it's a pretty airtight way of seeing the world, which is fine. You know, if you have a creationist perspective, that's great, good for you. Are you a creationist, by the way?
I don't think so.
All right, okay. Well, you would know if you are, probably, which is fine. That's not a problem, but you may want to explore evolution. It's not we didn't just make this stuff up, you know what I mean? Like, it's rooted deeply in the world of science and data and so on. But I will say, I just got from a fan, someone who watches the class, a fan, I don't like saying that, but I just got this box of books on Christianity. including a bunch of books some books that are making the argument for a creationist model and a scientific framework for understanding creationism. And for me, that's awesome because, well, whatever. I just like the fact that someone sees me, even though I'm an evolutionary thinker, sees me as open-minded enough that I would really be interested in reading the books because I don't know what truth is, So in any case, all right. But the idea is that human beings, we trace our roots to Africa and the Nilotic region of Africa. So you can see that the part where we start emerging out of Africa and we leave Africa. And, first off, people traveled around Africa, but the idea is people start moving and they go different places. And as we go to different areas of the world, the planet, our bodies encounter different environments, different climates, By the way, you're just hanging out here. Normally I would have you sit there and I would do this without you here, but I just thought it'd be kind of fun to have you sit here so that this isn't the volunteer part of the class, but it's just fun to have you up here. So, and so as people went around, moved around, traveled around the planet, because we migrated, our bodies encountered different environments. And as we encountered these different environments, our bodies adapt to those environments. So it's really warm, or it's really cold, or it's very dry, or it's very humid. And we have all sorts of parts of our bodies. We have our hair, we have our eyes, our noses, our lips, our ears, how tall we are, how short we are, how wide we are, how thin we are. But it's so many, the color of our skin, the shape of our noses, so many different parts of the human body adapts changes according to how well it fits a certain environment. And then the bodies change. So there are these, genetic mutations that happen that maybe people with a certain skin color are more adapted to certain environments, and so people who have that skin pigmentation or skin color, they thrive, and their genetic admixture gets passed on very easily, and so we see lots of people who have those genetic markers, and then they thrive in that particular region, and then some of them move out of the region, they go to a different region, and their bodies have to kind of adapt to the new region, and we find out that, hey, skin that's lighter in tone is better, it's more adaptive for this other colder region. And so then we start to see that people with lighter skin tones really thrive in this area, or people with straight hair, or people with tightly curled or kinked hair. And we talk about kinky hair, mostly what we see when somebody has, somebody of sub-Saharan African ancestry has it's curled. And if you look at it under a microscope, for most people, it's really tight curls. But sometimes it's more kinked. And the idea being that, it's that they lock around one another, right? So it stands up. And so there are reasons for that. There are reasons why hair straightens out. There are all sorts of things that are happening to the human bodies over history. So when you see those lines and you see this is the pattern of human migration, these bodies are adapting in different ways. Okay? And one way of being isn't better than another, right? So, Malachi, can you stand up real fast? Keep up your hat off.
Oh, okay.
No, you look good. All right. So if you look at Malachi and I, you see these two people who are really different. I see a person here who has ancestors who lived for long periods of time in one area of the planet. And I look at a mirror and I see me and I see, this is a person with ancestors who lived in a different area. If his ancestors lived where my ancestors lived because of his dark pigmentation, this would be a problem. But if my ancestors lived where his ancestors lived, if they had light skin color and they were in sub-Saharan Africa, that would be a problem for them, man. Because your skin pigmentation is protecting you from all the ultraviolet rays of the sun. And my skin pigmentation is protecting me because it's bringing in as much sunlight and as much of those ultraviolet rays and allowing me to produce calcium and vitamin D and so on and so forth, right? Bro, are we good? Have you talked about this in your like science classes in high school and all?
I mean, like a little bit.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I think about it sometimes.
Do you think, for example, you know what, in wintertime, it's really gray here. I need to make sure I get as much sun as possible to be really healthy?
For me,
Yeah, do you think about
particularly not really.
that? You should. No, this is a thing, right? So you see a gazillion, Emily, how many commercials, how many warnings have you seen to wear sunscreen, protect yourself from the sun? How many warnings do you see of like, listen, man, in the middle of summer, you're really darkly pigmented. You need to get as much sun as you possibly can because that's important for your health. Do you ever see that?
Not that many.
Okay, well, you heard it from me.
I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it. But
Okay, all
yeah,
right, cool.
I don't see it too often.
All right, well, this is a thing,
Yeah.
right? So you see, it's like one isn't better than the other. Like, it doesn't matter. Malachi, his ancestors were in one area, my ancestors were in another area. It's all good. We have, okay? All right, thanks, Philip.
Yeah,
Thanks
of course.
Appreciate that, man. I knew he would stand up because whatever. I don't want to be awkward for people, but I knew like you were cool with it. So, okay, are we good on that? So what we're going to do today is you got to empty your minds of a lot of these ideas that some bodies and some features are better than others because that's not where we're at here. That's not how I see the world. It's not what matters. All right, so go to the next slide. Here's an example of skin pigmentation. This was done actually by two friends of mine. And this, so you can see the red line is the equator. And notice how closer to the equator, the people who have been living closer to the equator have more darkly pigmented skin. Because there's natural protectorants from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. But as you move away from the equator, either north or south, you see how skin lightens, and the skin is adapting to its environment. So that's a good thing. Like you see that, right? It just kind of makes sense. All right, so when you see different skin pigmentations, it tells you something about the ancestors of the person you're looking at. Okay, we good? All right, ma'am. Next slide. All right, so why are there so many differences in these biogeographical groups? So you know, like, if you get on an airplane and you go, I don't know, you show up in Beijing, you know, you kind of have an idea what people are going to look like, right?
Yeah, to a point.
And then you show up, you get on an airplane, and you show up in Oaxaca, Mexico. You kind of have an idea of who you're going to see.
Yeah.
And if you go to Nairobi, Kenya, you have an idea of who you're going to see, right? And you're not going to be confused. You're not going to go to Nairobi and think you're in Beijing.
No.
And you're not going to go to Beijing and think you're in Oaxaca, right? But you might go to Beijing and think you're in Seoul, but you're not the other. And you're not going to go to Beijing and think you might be in Rome. You know. You show up and you see people. There are general features that are classic features of particular groups. Now, we're moving around all the time, and we're intermarrying and creating lots of children from different group places in the world. Like many of you are quite mixed. And so we have that, but mostly when you show up in areas, you kind of know where you are. And sometimes here's the thing. Have you ever traveled Europe?
No, I haven't.
Has anyone traveled Europe a lot, by the way? No, hang on. Any white person travel Europe a lot? Bro, where'd you go?
I went to Spain, and I went to Vienna.
Where?
Vienna.
Vienna?
Yeah.
Spain and Vienna. Where'd you go first?
I went to Vienna first.
To Vienna first? When you got, how'd you get to Spain? On a plane or in a train?
It was on a plane trip. It was a
Okay,
two
and when
distinct
you got to
vacations.
Spain, we got white people, right? You got white people here, white people there. Spanish people are basically white, okay? I mean, we're not getting in. Spanish people are white people, okay? So, you got off the plane in Spain. Did you know you were no longer in Vienna?
I mean, like, I could, like, look around and, like, Oh, that building looks like it's in
Not
Spain.
building, people. Did you see Spanish people and be like, dude, I'm not in Vienna anymore?
Uh,
Do you remember that?
I mean, I remember going to it was from the U.S. to Spain. I was like, I think those people look like they were from Spain. I think.
Okay, all right, here. So here's the idea, right? If you, when I show up in Europe, because I go to Europe quite a bit, and I've traveled around Europe a lot. When I show up in Europe, I know when I'm in Germany, I know when I'm in Italy, I know when I'm in southern Italy, I know when I'm in Ireland. I go to Ireland, I'm like, shit. You could just blindfold me, take me to Ireland, take me off the airplane, and set me loose in Dublin, and be like, hey, where are you? And I'll be like, I'm in Ireland, man. And like, you, Malachi, you may not, unless you grew up around a lot of white people and Irish people. Have you grew up around a lot of white people? What's that? Yeah. Do you know an Irish person when you see an Irish person? You don't think so? Yeah, right. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Like, you know the Irish? Like, you got it, right? You got it? You just know. So you get up, you see the Irish person, and you're like, okay, I'm in Ireland. And then you take me to Munich in Germany, and I'm like, damn, I'm in Germany. Now, I might think I'm in Austria, but I'm going to be like, I got this. Because there are all these differences in people, okay? So that's the first thing. You got these biogeographical groups of people. So there are two things. One is selection. Why are we different? Why do we have differences in these groups? Because the body's nature is selecting for certain features in people's bodies. And that's important. Also, just mutations. Mutations happen. Like, I got this notch in my ear, and lots of people in my family have this notch in my ear, but I don't ever see it with other people. But it's a mutation. It's not a bad mutation, it's not a good mutation, it's just a mutation. Somebody developed a notch. There was a genetic mutation that's boom. And then now I got the notch. And lots of people in my one side of my family have it. But, it doesn't mean like everybody would have it, right? Okay? And some mutations just become long-standing parts of various populations. And also by chance. We're different just because of chance. Things just happen, man. Okay? Next slide. Here. But we tell these stories. Hey, when you see this image, what do you see?
Evolution. What is typically associated with evolution?
Yeah, like you see these images of like evolution. Yeah, what do you see when you see that image?
Which one?
Yeah,
the whole image?
Does anything stand out for you?
Not necessarily.
Look at the can you see which one's the least evolved and the most evolved?
Oh, yeah.
Does anything stand out about that? It wouldn't necessarily stand out for you, because anything?
Well, typically we're taught that humans derived from primates. So the first one of the less evolved is a primate.
Yep.
Or a picture of what a primate supposedly looked like.
Yep. And so the most evolved one is a human.
Yeah.
And who's here? Hang on. Malachi, come back, man. Malachi and Sam are humans. Who's he look like?
Closer to Sam.
Yeah, so these are the stories. Sorry, bro. But they're always making these with the white guy. And this is the most evolved. Dude, even though clearly, look at you, man. Your shoes and stuff, you got this down. All right, thanks again, man. We're always doing, these are the stories we tell. And so oftentimes, like, you don't even see it, right? You don't notice it. It's just part of it. And these are stories. The people who win, the people who are the ones who get to tell the stories. And of course, we're not going to put Malachi up there. Like, you're going to put somebody like me. Well, I'm not that handsome, but you get the whole thing, right? And that's how we roll. And these are the stories. And what I want you to do is, don't do that. Don't tell that story. That's not how evolution works. It doesn't happen in that way. It's a very complex mix of things coming together. And it is these kinds of stories that keep us from talking about and noticing our differences. And in this class, right now, the next 2 days, today and next week, we're going to notice differences and we're going to talk about differences, just like I did with Malachi. Are we cool? So I'm going to teach you that it's okay. Because have you learned, are you like kind of a typical white American? Like, you're like, if you talk about, oh yeah, this guy in my class, Malachi, you can't say this black guy in my class. Because the moment you say black, you see color. And if you see color, you're racist kind of stuff. Does that sound familiar to you at all?
I mean, I think my family's a little more accepting.
No, but just people in general, right?
Yeah.
As a white person, have you, did you get those lessons? Like, hey man, you can't, don't notice race. It's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice you were black, man. Like, oh my God. You believe that? Oh shit, look, turns out he's black. Like, it's absurd. I didn't notice, you're around someone in a wheelchair, and they're like wheeling around and so on. And then you're like, oh, I didn't even, go ahead, say it. Like, I didn't notice your wheelchair.
I didn't notice your wheelchair.
Oh yeah, it's just this thing that's with me all the time, man. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really non-ableist of you. It's really wonderful that you're a human being who's non-ableist, that you don't even notice my damn wheelchair. Like, how awesome. You're such a good person. Like, oh my God. And that you don't even notice that Malachi is black. Well, what I'm telling you is start noticing these things, man. You got it? Like when you see Malachi, like I look at you and he pulled his hat off and I'm like, that dude's got like 4B hair, 4C hair. And I'm like, do you know what that means?
Yeah, it's the texture of hair.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay. So it's like you can notice stuff like that, right? You notice all sorts of things. It's good. It's good because it makes things interesting. It doesn't mean, it's not about you're not racist, but what you do is the better you get at sort of deciphering things and seeing things, the more interesting conversations you can have and more you can know about people. All right? Okay, so now you're going to be, we can go to the next slide here. Hey, by the way, this is me. This is my biogeographical ancestry. I'm like, actually, so that's how it breaks down. Hey, by the way, sometimes you can get these tests for half price. So it'll be $50. Sometimes you can even get them for $40. When you do, I'll send an email out to the class. So if you want to get a test like this, you can do it. But you can look at me, like English and Irish and Western Europe. I got like 10% from that area of the Netherlands. And what that means, the way we do this is that we identify markers that only exist in certain areas of the world. And so we know if you have these markers, then we know you have ancestors from those particular regions. And that's how we're able to say that. And like we can go back in time to have a sense of when your ancestors lived in these regions. So for me, I have ancestors in these regions, including 2% from sub-Saharan Africa. Look at that, man, from West Africa. Like, damn, like I've been trying to look to see where that came in because it's really fascinating. And that first showed up about 12 years ago, and it won't go away. At first we thought it was just a sampling error, but now it's there. So it's like, wow, where'd that come from, man? All right, so we good? All right, let's go to the next. Let's go to this volunteer group 1. All right, so I'm going to need some help here. This would be Brooke. Wait. Okay, you're on. Oh, wait. Can you go in the back room? Go through that door. And can you make sure the door's closed so she can't hear what I'm saying? All right. Okay, bro, you're on. Yeah, just have a seat there. And we need someone who's, wait, hang on, bro. Can you hop up there? I need someone who's identifies as, I'd like 3 volunteers, okay, if I could. Normally we pick people before class, but I just thought, like, let me just pull people up in class if I could. All right, so one is, you're Dominican, right? Oh, can you hop up? Yeah, all right. And then make sure you, yeah, you're good. You can leave your stuff there. Yeah, just sit on the table. Okay, and then someone who's identifies as African American, but who grew up in white culture? Man. Okay, how about you? Yeah. So like if you just sort of like, yeah, I'm white, all right. Okay. And then somebody who's, wait, bro, you're really connected culture, right? Okay, you're good? Yep. Yeah, and someone who's African, man, West African. Dude, where are you from?
Like grew up in West Africa, or is it like
Yeah, now you're 100%. Well, hang on. Are you African by nationality? Wait, but you're what's your parent?
my mom and dad are both Liberian immigrants.
Liberian? Okay, why don't you go? And then wait, who's an international student from Africa? You're internet. Oh wait, you were up here though already. She'll remember you. Somebody else? Any international students from Africa? Anybody? We can go with. Wait, hang on. Serious? Wait, you're not an international student, but you're what are you? Nigerian. Were you born in Nigeria? Were you born here or in Nigeria? And you're in. Let's use you here. She won't remember. She won't even remember who you were. Did you apply to volunteer though? Okay, we're gonna do something on Nigerians. Okay, can we get one more niche? Can we get one more chair? All right. Okay, this is the black team. All right, Team Black. All right, here we go. All right, we got it. All right, hang on. Bro, can you bring her, have her come back? Yeah. All right, Emily, here you go. Now, you ready? We got almost as, so this is, I want to introduce you to Team Black here, all right? Team African Ancestry. And I want you to, what I'm going to ask you to do is, you're sitting in a restaurant, and they're all sitting at another table, and they're all eating together and having a conversation, okay? And make a generalization about them. No, like, hang on. We all make generalizations, right? I want to say something here that's really important. I make generalizations all the time. I was walking around the room earlier, Emily, looking for our next segment, which is on a different group, and I knew I was making generalizations. I'm like, oh wait, I want to ask that person, like, nah. I can tell this guy's an international student, so I'm not. I know, like that's not going to be. And how do I know he's an international student? Well, not you, but I was up there. I'm like, just because I can see the way they dress, man. Like, I'm making endless generalizations, and guess what? I'm really good at it. Right? I can look at so many people, your clothes, the way you stand, the way you walk, I'm really good. I travel all over the world. I talk to people endlessly. I'm really good at it. The problem is when you take those generalizations and you make negative assessments or positive assessments about people, then that's a problem, man. But making assessments is sociology. We can't be a good sociologist if you're not generalizing. Okay, so what's the first thing that comes to mind?
They're all sitting at like a table at a restaurant.
Yep, and you see them all, and what do you think? Where are they from?
They could be from anywhere, but people will make the stereotype of, oh, they may be from African descent.
Yeah, well, where do you, by the way, hang on. You can't say anything racist right now. Okay, so don't.
I don't want to.
No, I know you don't want to. No, not that. You're not, it's not possible for you to say anything racist. Like, you don't have to worry. There's nothing that you would say that would be racist, okay? Not at all. You can, it's just not. So so they're black. Mm-hmm. What else? Look at them. Look at their faces, right? Hey, wait. Bro, can you zoom in on each face here, right? this handsome dude right here. Can you zoom in? Yeah. Okay, hang on. So look at him, right? Okay, can you turn? Bro, do you mind? Y'all are just models right now. Okay, it's good. You're gonna say something, but you're fundamentally models. So you see him, right? You can see that, and you're like, that should tip you off to something, but I don't know what, right? Okay, take a look at this guy. Keep going. Take a look at them. Okay, so hang on. Keep going. Take a look at her. Wait, by the way, what's your names, by the way? Can we come back to you? Yeah, what's your name, man?
Jackson.
Jackson? And wait, where are you from? Wait, no, don't say where you're from. Jackson, all right.
Brooke.
Juliana.
Caitlin.
Okay, wait, hang on.
Oh.
Okay, take a look at Juliana here. Zoom in on Juliana, right? Look at her hair, right? See her hair? Like, that's important here, right? Okay. And Brooke's hair, too. Did you see his hair? Right? Are you looking at that? These are all the typical. Bro, can you take your hat off real fast, do you mind? Nah, his hair's really short anyway, so it's not going to matter. This guy. Okay, man. All right, what's your name again?
Caitlin.
Caitlin. Take a look at Caitlin, okay? Got it? Zoom in on just a little bit on Caitlin. All right. Okay, here we go.
Denzel.
Got Denzel? All right. Are you like, check him out, check him out, right? That's your job. No, not in that way, but you know what I mean. Okay, and
Nyanga.
okay. So what do they have in common?
They're all black.
Yeah. What else?
They all have their different styles, different hair textures, different way they present themselves.
Where are you thinking they're from? There's six very different people here. Okay, where do you think they're from? Who has something in common, and what do they have in common? Look carefully.
Skin tones are similar between some of them.
Okay, what else? Look at here. You can come over here. Wait, are you guys okay? Are we good? If she comes and really looks at you closely, are you good, bro? Are we all right? But by the way, we're gonna do this with white people too, right? Yeah. And so like, don't think that like we're gonna do this with white people and other groups as well. So no, just look. I want you to, dudes, y'all, really look at people, right? Really look at people. This is so cool. So look at the difference between Jackson's face and Brooke's face. What do you see?
Different facial structures.
Yeah, okay. Do they remind you of anybody? Do you see any? You don't have a lot of history with black people, right?
I do.
But do you have a history with not just like African American people? I mean, black people from all over the world.
I would think so.
Okay, well, all right. What do you notice? You notice here? How about who has more in common? Do these two have more in common? Wait, what's your name again? Juliana. Do Juliana and Jackson have more in common, or Jackson and Brooke?
Juliana and Jackson.
Why? What do you see?
Closer skin tone, similar
Okay, go ahead. Beyond
facial
skin tone.
structure.
What else?
Similar facial structure.
Okay, facial structure. What do you see?
Noses are similar shapes, similar like shape in lips,
Got you.
eye color.
Okay, all right. And, dude, how about this? Juliana. I don't want to use names, because if I use names, how about these two right here? What do you notice?
They have different shades of skin color.
Okay, but what else? She has what?
Glasses.
Yeah, no, forget glasses. Take your glasses off for a second. I want her to really see your eyes. Here. How about these two right here? What do you see? Yeah, thanks, bro. These two people, these two lovely humans. Do you see anything?
Their hair similar.
Yeah, but what else? Do you see? Like, you know what I mean? Do you see it? Okay, wait. How about it's Caitlin, right? How about Caitlin and Juliana?
They have different styles.
Okay, let me ask you this. Who's most Americanized? Who do you think is most Americanized? Whatever that means to you, who's most Americanized?
Move similarly to like.
Make sure you're getting close-ups when we get in there. It's okay to do close-ups. Because the people in the class are like going, damn, man, I want to look too. All right, who's most Americanized?
I mean, do you mean like more like?
I just feel like they're not going to say like, I'm African American. They're going to be say, yeah, I'm American, man, whatever. How about this? Who has the most white friends? Who do you think? No, come on, look, man, look here. Who has the most white friends? Who do you think? No, go ahead. Dude, this is your job. I'm teaching you something about sociology here. It's okay. Are we good? Do you want to know? You want to know this too, right? Especially white people. I'm going to speak to other white people, your classmates, for a second. There's nothing, I want to be really clear here, okay? And maybe somebody on the stream, I gotta speak of it. There's nothing racist about what we are doing, okay? We're looking at human body features, which are all cool. And remember, I don't rank them good to bad. There's not a single body feature. If you put me in this lineup, the 7 of us, there's not a single bodily feature from skin to hair to whatever, except maybe, splotches on my face. But that's because I'm old. There's not a single feature that's better or worse to have. Nothing at all. They're just differences. And the more you see them as just differences, the more we can just move forward and have the kinds of conversations and relationships that we want to have. Who has the most white friends?
Based off style, probably Caitlin.
Caitlin. All right, what's her style? What do you see besides the Uggs there?
That's
like a white sorority women shoe, right? Are you in a white sorority, by the way? Like, okay, whatever. Dude. What is it? What do you see? Just style.
Stereotypes.
No, it's not stereotypes, so go ahead. No, it's an observation. Dude, after class on the first day, these sorority groups in Thon came and they did a thing right after class and they were doing a recruitment thing, or maybe it was the Monday night before class started. I'm telling you, man, there were like 150 white women in here. I swear to God, I'm telling you, if my own sister was that age and she was in that group of 150 white people, I would not have been able to pick her out. They were all the same. I'm like, and for me, that was like, oh, that's cool. Sociologically, they all wore the same outfit and no one told them to. That's so cool. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Okay, so here's my next question. Who has the most white friends? Who has the least? Who's most connected to their culture? Who do you think? Look.
I don't remember names.
Yeah, no, okay. Jackson, Brooke, Juliana, Caitlin, Denzel, and I don't want to say her name, okay? No, because it's like a tip-off. So it should be a tip-off.
I remember her name. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay. So who's she most like?
Who is she most like?
Yep.
Brooke.
Oh, wait, Brooke? Brooke, why? Oh, dude, hang on. I'm going to give you a high five right here. Well, that's good. I'm impressed. Why Brooke?
I'm still going off of features. Skin
Okay,
color.
go ahead. Why Brooke?
Skin color.
Skin color. Yeah, okay. Yeah, look at it. Okay, wait. Can you take your glasses off again? Yeah. All right. Look at. Yeah. Skin color. All right. Here. Let's do this. So listen. Let me give you a couple things here. All right. You hold on to that, and you can. Well, hang on. First off. So say something about yourself, like who are you? Like, because I asked you before class, are you really connected to black culture? And what'd you say?
I said, yeah.
How so?
I mean, I'm just black for real. Like, that's about it.
For real. There you are. All right. How about, like, do you identify as African American?
No.
Yeah? How do you identify?
Black.
As black? All right. Okay. And why black and why not African American?
As of I know, like, none of my family was born in Africa or immigrated, so I don't want to claim that, like, oh, my family was born in the U.S. and things of that nature.
Okay, all right. So he's one of every single black person in America has different reasons for saying one thing or another, just like every single white person, right? All right, okay. Brooke, do you know where he's from? Do you know where his ancestors are from? Ah. Do you ever go to Washington, D.C.?
Yeah.
Do you ever notice black people in Washington, D.C.? Do you ever go to Dulles Airport?
Once.
All right, okay. Next time you go to Washington, D.C., do you notice a very large segment of the black population in Washington, D.C.? Where's your ancestry from?
Ethiopia.
Yeah. Do you see that? Do you see his eyes? Dude, can you zero in here? See his eye? Like, these are Ethiopian eyes. Like, dude, by the way, I make some killer injera, man. Yeah. You know that's cool, right? This white guy can make injera. Yeah. Do you know what injera is? Absolutely not. Dude, how do you not know? Tell this black guy what injera is. Fuck. Oh my God.
Injera is like a staple Ethiopian dish. It's just like what everybody eats, kind of like traditionally.
Everybody eats at every meal. If you ever eat in an Ethiopian restaurant, you'd have it. So it's the bread that you put on. It's unleavened bread made out of teff flour, and you take the bread and you eat. Oh, it's awesome. Dude, it's awesome, man.
I don't eat it.
You don't eat it? Oh my God. Okay, he's not Ethiopian anymore. All right, so here. Why are you here? No, what's your background?
My parents are Dominican, from the Dominican Republic, and then they immigrated to New York City.
So she's Hispanic. So what's that tell you? What's that tell you about the connection between these two people here? They are the most connected. Well, and also Caitlin. Yeah. What's their connection? What do these three people have in common? So Caitlin, Juliana, and Jackson.
Like visually?
Yeah. What do they have in common? What's their sociological stories? Their ancestry. Wait, do we have another microphone? Can we get a? Wait, where's the other stick? Oh, here it is. What do they have in common? They have some. The three of them have some. Does anyone know? What do the three of them have in common? Jackson, Juliana, and Caitlin. They have something in common that the other three don't have in common. Does anyone know?
Is it that they don't identify as African American?
No. It's about their ancestry. What's that? Wait, hang on.
Their parents immigrated?
No.
Oh.
No. Well, they did. They're not their parents, but yeah. Anyone have it? Like wait. You want to give it a shot?
Are they all Caribbean?
No. No, but what do Caribbeans? But she is, right? And these she is, and they're not. Oh, wait, you're not, right? You're not Afro-Caribbean?
No.
Where are your parents? Your grandparents from? Okay. She is, but they're not. But what do they have in common? They trace their ancestors to slavery in the West, okay? Most slaves who were brought to the Americas did not come to the United States. A very small number of slaves. The vast majority of slaves went to the Caribbean, right, and South America and Central America. So the three of them trace their ancestors to West Central Africa. Okay? Ethiopia is in East Central Africa. That's why they look so different, right? But West Central Africa, that's their ancestors. So when you see like people who are African American, who identify as African American or Afro Caribbean, they have very similar genetic markers, right? If we were to compare the three of you, you know what I mean? Like if we do a DNA test, you're going to come up the same. You're going to come up different, and wait, hang on. Can you explain to her what makes the two of you similar?
Us two?
Yeah.
Again, I wasn't born in Africa, but my parents are both West African immigrators. They both came to America, Liberian.
From Liberia.
Yeah. And I guess Sierra Leone actually is like right above Liberia, like on the continent. And so we're both West African. I think, were you born in Sierra Leone? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're both.
So she's an international student. He's not, but they share the same DNA, basically, right?
Yeah. Ish.
Ish. Yeah. I mean, we can identify different tribes, different groups, right? But listen, Caitlin, Juliana, and Jackson, they're here in the U.S. And I will guarantee if we do a DNA ancestry testing, you maybe not. Wait, who came from the DR?
Both of my parents.
Both your parents did? And I'm looking. Have you ever done an ancestry test? Have you done one?
No.
Have you done one? So they're much more likely to have European ancestry, the three of them, because of time spent in the Americas, right? Because your ancestors are here. So they have a lot of time for you to mix blood, just like me. But whereas he doesn't, if you do a DNA test, you have no white blood. Yeah. You can't tell that, but I know that. And they have no white blood at all. But if you look, what's that? You have a white cousin?
Like biologically.
Yeah? Wait, from Africa? Yeah. Oh, yeah? Oh, damn. From whose side?
My mom.
Oh, your mom's side? Wait, how'd they get a white cousin?
I don't know.
Yeah, you got to find that out.
Like, we're all confused.
You're all confused? Okay, but wait, you have white people in your family?
I don't, but
no.
Like, because of how Liberia was, like, formed.
Yeah, Liberia is a little bit different.
Yeah, like, I used to say that I used to be like, I have no white blood in me. And then I was like, wait, I could because freed slaves.
Because all the freed slaves went to Liberia, and so they brought white blood with them.
Possibly.
Right?
Yeah.
Markers. Okay. But if not, okay.
If not, I'm clean.
Yeah, no, you're not. Okay? So it's kind of interesting. So if I look at Caitlin, by the way, and I look at it's not about skin tone. It's not that at all. It's about so many different things. You know what I mean? So you see that. You see how we're looking? See how we're doing that? By the way, Caitlin, I asked for someone who was most connected to white culture, like, grew up in white culture, right? She raised her hand. So you nailed that. It was the Uggs, right? You know what I mean? What makes you connected to white culture? Like what?
So I've grown up in white schools my whole life. I am connected to my black culture, but around of white.
Wait, hold the mic really close.
A lot of my friends are white, I would say, but I do have a good mix. I would say 50-50.
But you're comfortable in white culture.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Is that a problem for you? Here you are. Okay, you're with these other 5 black students from the class. When you say, yeah, I grew up around a lot of white people, half my friends are white, it's do you feel some kind of way about that, or are you no, it's okay?
No, because I also grew up in a group called Jack and Jill and stuff like that, where that helped with yeah.
Damn dog.
So I would say no.
Do you know what Jack and Jill is? Bro, you don't know what Jack and Jill is. Jack, right? Who up here might know what Jack and Jill is?
Probably If they all said no, then probably none of them.
Say no, none
Yeah.
of them. Yeah. How about Malachi? What's the possibility that Malachi knows what Jack and Jill is, man?
I'm probably gonna say no.
You're gonna give it like from 1% to 100%. What would you say? 0?
No, I'd say like a 25
Dude,
to
I'd
30.
say 0, man. She's being kind to you, bro. Right? Can you say what Jack and Jill is?
It's just like, I guess, like an affluent moms group for Black and like mixed children.
It's for the bourgeoisie, the petty bourgeoisie. Right? Oh, wait, am I allowed to say that? That's a Marxist term. Am I going to get turned into the authorities if I use a term from Karl Marx? Yeah, it's from the petty bourgeoisie. Okay? So but you don't, for me, wait, how is it that I'm talking about this? Jack and Jill. Like, did you expect me to know what Jack and Jill was?
No. None of my friends know what it is. I have to like explain it.
Oh, damn, dog, come on, man. Oh. Yeah, all right. Anybody else in Jack and Jill? Anybody else? No. All right. Well, it's a thing, right? How is it, though, for me to talk about it for you?
Fine for me. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah? Okay. That's cool. Because, I mean, I don't know, like, how, can I ask you a question? How is it for you? How comfortable are you just sitting up here being like a representative of Afro-Caribbeans?
I like it. It's fine.
Are you more connected to your Black side or your Hispanic side?
I mean, more Hispanic because both of my parents like grew up in DR and. So.
¿Habla español?
Sí.
¿Fluido?
Sí.
Ah, okay. Do you speak Amharic?
Yeah.
You do? Fluently?
No.
Okay, but you do. Do you know what Amharic is? Dude, all right, man. See, you're getting a whole lesson here, man. You learn about Jack and Jill. You learn about Amharic. Okay. So you say, so that connects you to, so when you think about who you are as an Afro-Caribbean woman, okay, do you feel, what's that mean? Like, what's that mean?
I mean, I never really considered it a bad thing because my family, especially, they love praising like dark skin and stuff. And like, even though I grew up like with my Hispanic side, my school was predominantly like Black and Hispanic. So like my friends are Black and Hispanic. So like, get both, the best of both worlds.
And the messages you got from your family was that if you brought, Marquise? No, what is it? Dude, Denzel. If Denzel came home, if you brought Denzel home, it's like, okay, cool. Got it?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. He
No.
doesn't have to be light-skinned or anything.
No.
It's all good. Yeah. Huh, okay. Yeah. I don't mean, like, oh, that's strange. No, it's like, no, okay, that's good. Hey, what'd you learn today, by the way?
Pretty much just there's a lot more countries represented here at Penn State.
So many represented. What's your religion? Are you Christian?
My mom is Muslim, my dad's Christian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Denzel?
Raised Christian, atheist.
Damn, atheist. Man, someone take care of this guy here. You know what I mean? I'm an atheist too, by the way. All right.
I'm Baptist Christian.
Oh, I was going to say you got to be Baptist, right? Okay. Dude. How'd I know? Why would I have said that? Do you have any idea? Dude, that's high level generalization right there. That I would look at her and be like, dude, she's totally evangelical Baptist, right? Christian. You could do that one day, right? Okay. Are you Catholic? I guess. Are you really Catholic? I mean, like, do you go to mass and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, not here, but like.
Because here you're just partying all week long.
No.
Well, I mean, you need to like kind of absolve yourself of your sins, so you should go while you're up here too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's too cold.
I mean, because you're a Penn State student, so you must just, because people think you're partying all the time. All right, it's too, well, hang on a second. It's too cold to get out of bed for Jesus?
I can praise him from my dorm.
Yeah, that's true. You can do that. All right. Oh, my God. Right. Bro, what?
I'm Orthodox.
The oldest Christian church in the world, by the way, is in the Christians. The oldest, what we've identified as Christian church, a place where Christians came to worship, are in his country. Okay? So that's pretty wild. It's in Africa. So just want to say. And how about you, man?
Raised Baptist Christian.
And now?
Christian.
Just general Christian? You don't want to like jump in anywhere?
I'll say more so Baptist just because that's how my church was.
Yeah. All right. Do you go to church?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool. All right. Just checking. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? What questions do you have? What questions do you have for me? First off, we have international students from, think about any questions you have for me, okay? International students from Africa. What were you taught or told about African Americans before coming here? Oh, man, here we go.
I wasn't really like told a lot. I'm Mende, and so like whenever you learn about like African American like slave trade, a lot of the times they mention that the Mendes are the ones who give like their people away to like the Europeans to come here. When I came here and we watched movies about it, I like often found like, because they would be in Mende so I could understand, and we always went into conversations about that, but I was never really taught about it before.
All right, so listen, man. You know, when you hear people make the argument that black people were involved in slavery also, you ever hear people say that? It's like, well, is it just white people? Black people were involved in slavery also. That's her people. Yeah. It's her ancestors right here. So just want to say, yeah. Thanks for admitting that. That's good. All right. How about you? Like, what do your parents say about African Americans? First off, do they demand that you call yourself African or Liberian, or are they?
No, I identified for myself how I want to be associated. But like my aunties would like make remarks about like some of their boyfriends who like he's a typical like black American, he does like that, yada yada yada. I'm like, and I would take note of that sometimes when I heard it, because sometimes there are differences in like how African people who are like African descent, like immigrant descendants, like immediately versus like people who are like born in America who are black. Mm-hmm. Just like some cultural differences, like what you eat, like who you hang around sometimes, like what music you listen to, like is a big one. And so I would like pick up on like that there are certain differences within blackness and like within, and yeah.
So if your sister brought Jackson home as a boyfriend, what are the kinds of things that you feel like he would not understand about your family and your culture?
Like the food we make, and like
like fufu, like what?
Yeah, fufu. Like literally eating with your hands, like for fufu, or like the
eating with your hands.
Yeah, certain things.
Do you eat with your hands?
Yeah.
Do you? All right. Do you know what fufu is?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That's
Dude, all right.
That's a lot more popular, actually. Yeah.
Do you have a sister?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have like a whole other stuff.
All right. Okay. All right. Wait. Okay. So just cultural things.
Yeah.
Do they, if you brought, okay. All right. How about, can I ask you a question? Do your parents, are they like, you got to be with someone who's Ethiopian, or are they, doesn't matter?
No, I don't think it matters much to them.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, if you find someone who's part of Jack and Jill, you can remember, just be like, dude, she's in Jack and Jill, you know? How about you? Do your parents say they got to speak Spanish, or does it not matter?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
It's cool, because they're just like, whatever. All right. Do you guys have any questions for me? Do we have another question from the stream? Trip asks, what's the difference between African American, black, and black American? Bro, you're going to answer that. All right.
I would just say for me at least, because I never identify as African American, just because like my family, like I said, most of them were born in Cali or Arizona, and so for me, I never was connected to the African side of my culture, and so because of that, I never claimed African or African American because I'm not directly from there. For example, I have some friends who are Nigerian, so then they claim themselves African American because their parents, their grandparents migrated here, and they're like really connected with that culture. But for me and my family, like
You're not.
yeah, none of us are like have that part of our
You. So
family.
you've now all you've done is trace. You just know that you have ancestors from the southeastern part of the U.S., like what South Carolina, Virginia, wherever. Where's your most distant ancestor from? Where are they from? The most distant ones.
Say Arizona.
Wait. So
well,
when
like-
did people migrate to Arizona, though?
I have no idea.
Huh. Yeah. By the way, you know that when we look at DNA with Black Americans, and so the people with the highest percentage of DNA admixture that's from sub-Saharan Africa, like virtually 100%, are people, the Gullah people off the coast of South Carolina. And then what we see is as Black Americans migrated west, and then we have sampled people like in Washington and Oregon and California. By the time they get there, the average white DNA in the average white person who migrated there, whose family migrated there, the average white percentage of whiteness in them is 30%. So, because this is what happens, people start mixing over time. So that's why I asked. So that means like, Arizona, like, depending when they got there, you know what I mean? Okay. Do you have any questions for me? So do we have another question from the stream? Question from the class? Who's got a question? Who wants to throw something out? Question for somebody on the... Who's got a question you want to ask? Anybody? Come on. Do you have a question? One of you have to ask me a question. All right. Our Nigerian classmate here.
So
But wait, hang on a second. When you look at her, do you know that her parents are from Africa, are from West Africa? When you look at her?
I wouldn't say West Africa, but I would say Africa, yeah.
Oh yeah, West Africa. Dude, like when I saw her very first day in class, I go, there's a Nigerian. Right, probably Nigerian. Could be Ghanaian, whatever, but most likely Nigerian, you know. So do you see that? Do you see her? Wait, can you just stand up for a second? Do you see that in her? Do you see like her parents West African? Do you see that? Do you see that? Can you see? You two can see that, right? Right away? You just see. All right, man, sorry.
Okay, my question is for Caitlin. Wait, are you Caitlin? Okay, so would you say that your Black friends have kind of viewed you as like condescending because you're in Jack and Jill? Because the stereotypes that I've heard about Jack and Jill kids are that they're very condescending, and even though they're Black, they kind of, I guess, seem almost superior to like the average Black person. And I especially hear about those kind of people at like HBCUs like Howard and stuff. So like, would you say that that's been an issue?
I wouldn't think so, but I can see where you're coming from. Like, it's not a lie. Like, some of the people in Jack and Jill are kind of just like whatever, but I don't think so. Like, personally, I like to think of myself as like not that type of person. I try to be like nice to everybody, so I wouldn't think so. But I can see how like you people think from like Howard. If you go to Howard or Spelman, like my sister went to Howard, so trust me, I got the stories. Like, I can see why people would think that.
So, not to put you on the spot or anything, but like, if you did...
Wait, hang on. Why don't we, we're gonna put more, let's have a conversation later about this, like class. We'll do a social class conversation.
Okay.
Because, yeah, let's do that. I love that. I'm dying to hear it. Okay, wait, one quick question from the stream. From New Zealand. Why were Europeans abroad called white and not European Americans? Oh, dude, T3. Next Thursday's class, we're going to talk about this. So T3 from New Zealand, make sure you tune in next Thursday, and we will be talking about this. Hey, can we have a round of applause? Okay. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Hey, and the other volunteers, just plan for next class, okay? Hey, and a round of applause for Emily. Dude, nice job, man. You were rocking it. Okay, y'all. Have a safe weekend. Stay warm.